And here we go. No, Isaac, you're not transmitting.
I'm not transmitting. Coopera Salinsu! The hulking figure closes his outstretched hand into a fist as he speaks the words, lowers his head slightly. And then tips forward, crashing into the ground, where he lies motionless.
Bax is already sitting up on his knees with his spear hoisted as he was ready to throw it.
Yeah, and Bex, just as you're aiming to line up your spear shot, there's a clatter of metal as this person in their armor hits the ground.
Zev slowly lowers the casting rod, and are they getting that same sense of recognition?
Yes, indeed. As you were waking up, startled awake by whoever was on watch and warned you that somebody was coming in, there is that strange sensation, this feeling of connection, as you felt when you've met some other people before.
Holding his spear still, Bax will gingerly approach the figure and we'll prod him once or twice. We'll prod the figure once or twice to see if he gets any kind of reaction.
Zev is going to invisibly mage hand lift up one of the hands of Ashen and just drop it. Basically the same thing, but from a distance.
Yeah, it just falls.
You see that there
Is he dead?
You see that there's snow and ice sort of built up on the shoulders and the armor of this figure and whatever clothes they're wearing.
Bax will place the spear to his side and roll the figure over onto their back so that he can attempt to see if make out if the figure is still alive or not.
Be ready to restrain him and stuff, though, Bax. Like, if he, sits up and stuff, you can knock him out, right? I saw you against that troll. You're pretty good.
As they flip Ashen over to have a better look, give us another more detailed description of what Ashen even looks like. What do they see now?
Yeah, so he has a heavy, burlap kind of cloak covering most of his body, obviously for the weather conditions being so cold outside. And as you roll him over, it opens up and you see finely crafted armor that is very old but has been kept well for some time. And on the front of it is a raven of black that's emblazoned across his chest. And it's very, very ornate. And he has short cropped hair and a short beard with gray throughout both. He seems like he's probably maybe in his 50s, and he is human looking.
Yeah, can I roll a medicine check to attempt to see what kind of condition he's in?
Yeah, so you check him over. I think you can tell pretty immediately that he's been exposed to the cold conditions for quite a while. He's probably on the edge of hypothermia and has been battered by the wind.
Okay, I think seeing the raven blazing across his chest, I think Bag's kind of is taken aback from that for a moment, and he doesn't recognize it, but like feels some like a sense of comfort almost from it, or recognizes it at least as some sense of familiarity with it, and will will use lay on hands, put in a single point of healing to this figure, and then kind of like drape him over his shoulder as best as he can, like try and bring the figure back to the fire.
Sav is going to sit up and go over to stoke the fire manually. I don't know what they're burning here, but whatever they are, if
Yeah.
there isn't enough fuel.
Roll fat.
There's probably some amount of that. Someone had been in this cave before, so there's like a little bit of tarp and some stuff like that. So you're almost out of supplies for making fire. But
Bax, as you're dragging him over, he kind of says, "Tough. Where's tough?"
Kind of eyeing him as he mumbles that. He's around. Just stay awake. We'll try and warm you up.
Not sure if I've heard that, but she's still turning over what the guy said when he first came in. Did it sound like a language that she might recognize?
That's a good question. Ashen, the languages you're using, if relevant, message me in your channel.
Okay.
I don't know if this would change any. Don't interrupt any action while you get the information. But can Squire move to the mouth of the cave to sort of look out and sort of see if there's anyone else following, or any other footsteps or anything so you can see?
Yeah, we could say that's what you've been doing as they're doing this. And yeah, moving closer to the cave, you're still looking out through the illusion that Saf had created, but all you see is howling wind and snow. The blizzard's still going strong outside.
Peach would, from her position near the back of the cave, would call up to Bax and say, Do you know him? Do you recognize him?
Nope, no idea who this is, but they are freezing, potentially dying, so I could use a hand with taking off his armor so that we can try and bundle him up as best that we can.
Oh, sure. Peach will immediately go to assist.
Yeah, Sav, you did get the sense that he was casting some sort of spell, but the language itself isn't one thing you're familiar with.
Might it have been a spell I recognize?
Potentially. Yeah,
Nosser will be helping tend to him.
Just while I'm looking at that, just a small note, Ellie. That was microphone a little close. I was like really loud on that.
Sorry.
Don't think you know this spell, so.
Yeah, so I think with some help backs from Peach, help from Peach and Montreal, I think Bax would have gotten the figure, at least taken all the armor off and tried to get him bundled up and as close to the fire to try and get him warmed up again.
Yeah, at this point, Merrick's come over from where he had woken up. He's got a sword in his hand. Is this someone all of you know?
I know, but I don't know. Got a sense, I guess. Yeah.
He's a traveler coming in, stumbling from out of the storm. Just
How
another
was he able
person.
to? How was he able to see through though? When you set up that door, right?
Could be he simply just walked through without realizing it was supposed to be there. Doesn't seem in good condition at the moment.
Yeah, you see Merrick's studying Ashen and sort of the actions that you're doing in association with him, kind of from a distance for a moment. He didn't say anything, but after a moment, he sheathes his sword, glances over at Squire at the mouth of the cave before heading back over to where Vesper's body is.
I'm assuming they're doing stuff like stripping the armor off of him and chafing extremities to get blood flow back and all that.
Yeah, like blankets from our packs and things. Like,
Hot
Yeah.
tea, anyone?
yeah, hot tea.
I think doffing his armor, you would realize that he is very militaristic in his build. He has several scars across his body, and his armor, like I said, very old but very well kept and very well made. And as you're kind of working on him to warm him up, he'll say, "Where?"
Sav whispers to everyone who's around, who I assume is only party members at the moment or player characters at the moment. Look, I
Yeah,
assume.
if you're speaking quietly.
Okay. Yep. I assume all of you, since we've all had the same feeling, had a feeling about him, and have at least seen his face in our minds, but don't say all, at least to the Reliquar crew, right?
Yeah.
You have also removed a round shield with balanced scales on the front of it. A war pick that's long and thin and obviously used a great deal, and a battle axe as well.
As they're removing the weapons, Peach looks side to Bax and Mosrael. Should we, I know we all saw him in our dreams and things, but should we like restrain him? What if he wakes up and thinks, acts before, what if he wakes up and tries to use one of these all on us?
Priority is to make sure that he lives long enough to actually try and attack us. In the meantime, go ahead and take these weapons away, set them about 20 feet away, and Bax will find his pack and reach into it and pulls out a small bundle. A friend of mine showed me how to make some pine needle tea a while back. Would you fix this up for me? I think he's probably gonna need some of this.
Sure thing.
Aloysius just, and Sav calls Aloysius over and tells him to lie down on top of the man for body warmth.
Is this in goat form still?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have not resummoned him, so he's a goat.
You see Aloysius with little hooves circle several times, like just to make sure to get comfortable, and
So rude.
Gives him a scratch behind the ears. And goes back to seeing if anything else is coming.
yeah. So is Sav joining Squire at the mouth of the cave?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, and we'll also keep an eye out for like any notes, books, letters, diaries, whatever. Bax can't do anything with them, but someone else might be able to make out what they say.
Are you looting my corpse?
You're not a corpse yet. Shut up.
Yeah, it's
Right
your
now he's
body.
just robbing you.
Yeah, as they're standing sort of at the mouth of the cave, looking out at what I imagine looks like a whiteout of some kind, as he sort of says as an aside to Sav, you recognize him?
I'm out of my dreams. There's
Gotcha.
another one.
Gotcha.
Did anyone else hear the asking about Talith? Or was it just Bax?
I think anyone in earshot probably heard that.
Peach doesn't remember him. Like, doesn't remember the name yet. Means nothing.
You said something about Talith. He was around earlier, right?
Yeah. For just long enough to kill the troll. And then... flash of light.
What is, you know what that is?
Nah. I've never seen anything like it yet. Sort of like, but not... Sort of like, but not really like the ways that people were popping in and out before all this. Except none of the memories are rearranging, so that's weird.
He sort of nods, and keeps looking out into the snow.
And who is tending to Ashen right now? Bax, Peach,
Me.
Mosrael.
So Bax, Peach, and Mosrael.
Yeah, all three of you roll medicine check. Yeah, Bax, you feel pretty confident. As much as you could use a rest, whoever the stranger is could use it too.
We should just get him bundled up as best that we can and have an additional pair of eyes up to keep an watch on him specifically. But I think that the best thing that we can do right now is just to continue to let him rest.
Do the rest of us go back to sleep?
Actually, can.
Yeah, Mosrael will agree. Yeah, that seems wise. I think we're all weary, and I'm sure we'll hear if this one wakes up again. She gestures to the newcomer.
Yeah, Squire like yawns and blows warm breath across his hands, rubbing them together, and sort of looks down at Sav. Shrugs and sort of starts to make his way back towards, like he's heading back towards the cave where he was laying down before.
There's really nothing else to be seen out there, right? Just white.
Yeah, Blizzard's still going strong. The footsteps of where Ashen had wandered into the cave are almost completely covered now.
Sav lingers behind for a minute and takes out a little gold loop of wire, threads some of it through holes in her ears, and then takes out another tool and begins to ritual cast a spell, still mostly within the aegis of the illusion, rock illusion, and is going to cast alarm ritually within that space, basically keyed so that to ring silently within her mind, and also to whenever someone crosses the far end of that. Like anyone, including the rest of the party.
Before too long, when you're able to begin to get back to sleep. Meanwhile, in another time, somewhere in the past, Hercule, you are a child. You're in bed. It's time to go to sleep, and you can sitting on the side of your bed is your mother, mounted up on the wall above your bed, an old drum, tassels hanging. She is humming to you, as she often does when it's time to sleep. After a long day in the village, you had perhaps a few good experiences today, perhaps won one of the competitions. And you can see she is smiling down kindly onto you, her tusks, casting shadows in the firelight. She reaches down and touches your cheek, brushes it with her thumb, and she leans over, blows out the candle, and it's dark. And it begins to get cold, bitterly, terribly cold. You can feel the crushing weight of the world on top of you, and you realize, as you try to draw in a breath, you can't breathe.
I am conscious right now. And it's completely dark.
It's dark, it's cold, and you can feel terrible weight on top of you.
I start struggling, and subconsciously I try to reach out, to where I thought my mother was, but then more struggling and pushing against the weight.
Your hand burst up through the snow, and there's low sunlight of a distant sunset coming in through the snow and the fog on your face. The wind is howling, almost cutting against your skin. Oh, it was the avalanche. You were with the others. Where are they? You lost track of them. It all happened so fast. The whole mountain roaring, coming down on top of you.
I still recognize the visual signs of the mountain range where I was.
Yeah, that's right. You'd come to the mountains. That's where you are. You were searching for something, searching for answers. You were with others. They were with you when the snow came down. Where are they now?
As confusion slips a little, I try to get my bearings, and I try to see if, despite the snow, I can see any signs of where they might have gone.
The wind's cutting against your skin. You feel a small rock hit your cheek and create a bloody line across your skin. There's no sign of the others. If they're here, how could anyone have survived? How did you survive? But you barely make out what seems to be a cave kind of further in the distance.
The wind's a little bit too much. I try to trudge through the snow and at least seek shelter from the wind and the debris inside the cave.
Gathering up some of the snow, you trudge through its knee, thigh, sometimes hip height. You're having to push and claw through it. You make your way towards that distant cave in hopes of shelter. Meanwhile, back in another place. Peach, we're going to say at this point in the evening, you're on watch.
Okay.
You're sitting, the fire's crackling, getting low now. You guys are on the last of the bits of timber that hopefully will last the rest of this night. You notice something you've never noticed before. Just your glove is down just enough to where at the base of your thumb, it's not a freckle. You realize it's like a single dot that's luminous just under your skin.
That she presses it with their fingers.
Nothing seems to happen, but as you look across the campfire to Bax, who's also on watch with you, you realize the constellation in his eye is glowing, and then you're struck with a strange feeling, the same feeling as when you had met Sav and Mossriel, and then in a flash, Talith appears.
Welcome back. I'm glad you weren't killed by the troll.
Talith looks around and acknowledges this person he doesn't really know, but may have seen briefly at one moment. He looks at her, looks a little bit deeper in, doesn't say anything, looks deeper into the cave.
Yeah, you're in the cave, kind of near the campfire. You remember you were fighting the troll, but now you're here. You see some people that you'd caught a glimpse of in the battle, but they're on the ground, covered in a blanket. You see Ashen.
And everyone else is more or less asleep, right?
Yeah.
He walks back over to her, gestures over to Ashen. Where did you find him?
He found us, wandered in an hour or two ago. Bax, right? Not too long ago. Earlier today.
At this point, Talith, behind you, you hear you feel a tightening sensation as Bax wraps his arms kind of around your waist and kind of lifts you up a little bit before placing you back down and kind of like slapping your shoulder. Oh, it is so good to see so many familiar faces at once.
You guys are childhood friends too?
Well, you said you came up from behind and wrapped your arms around him?
Oh, yeah.
Talith, during this process, Talith immediately brings an elbow back behind him to try to elbow whatever this is that's behind him, grabbing him.
I mean, he takes it, doesn't let go until he's done with his hug. Ow.
And after that, yeah, once he hears that, Talith will stop. Turn around. He takes an eager step forward, almost one of urgency. His first step leading forward, even closer and worse towards Bax after he'd already stepped back. And then his next leg following slows down to one of a bit more caution. And then he says, "Why are you here?"
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting pulled every which direction, but, it's just how things kind of go for us, right?
No, I mean, you died. You're dead.
We should catch up. First things first. This guy in Bax gestures towards the unconscious figure. He was asking for you. Weirdly, do you know him?
Yes. Yeah, I do. He's alive.
Bax will check his pulse just to be doubly sure. Yeah, he was on the verge of hypothermia. Still technically is. We're doing the best that we can. Don't know him or recognize him. We all kind of had an inkling about him, though, whatever that's about.
Yeah, we've been seeing him, in our dreams and all.
Yeah.
Talith, as you look closer, you realize that one of the blankets piled on top of Ashen is a fully grown goat.
Now, hang on there. Before you all get caught up properly. Right, that's Talith, yeah? You? And she points at Talith. I'm Proserpina Pine. You can call me Peach. Were you all right when you was gone? Like, were you dead? Like, you need to say where you went for when, it was just a couple hours, but folks be disappearing every now and then. And where did you go?
And I will say, I think this conversation, probably anyone who wants to wake up during this scene, you can wake up.
Yeah, Masra will be awake and sit up, and she won't say anything. She'll just be alert and listen in what's going on.
Because you all can catch up and what have you, but where were you when you were gone?
He looks at her as she's speaking, and then when he finishes, he looks back to Bax. It's been 250 years since. What I mean is, you should have died. You said you would catch me up. Catch me up.
I think at this point, there's going to be a Talith! And then Sub comes hurtling across the cave and just tackles him around the middle. You didn't disappear forever!
No. And it seems somehow neither did either of you. He takes his hand and kind of presses it onto Bax's shoulder, just checking him out. He's a bit confused. And then he does the same to Sav. And you don't. I mean, wait, huh?
Sav was going to step back after giving him as much of a bone-crushing hug as her spindly arms can manage, and then sees the silver charm that he's wearing, and her face falls for a second. She touches it lightly, lets her hand fall, and then says, actually, I don't think it will say anything else at the moment.
This was the, just to clarify, the silver, like, circular one?
Yes, I'm assuming it's the one that Sorla gave you.
It's probably, I think that's the only silver one he has. I think so, so yeah, okay. You two haven't really aged just too much, it seems like.
Yeah. Why are you old?
Wait, he got old too? How much younger were you?
Sub points at the whites in his hair and says, "Look."
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Have become. Never mind.
Squire is asleep. Appears to be asleep with his back turned.
Masra will pipe up and she says, "Hey, what do you mean by 200 years? We thought you said 7 years, 200 years. What do you?"
He looks to Sav and Bax again, then to Peach, and then now this new person who's speaking up. It's been 250 years, roughly, since the place I existed in, and I've been here in this land for around 7 years now.
So besides, she's from Galring too.
You're from Galring?
Yeah, I'm Masrael.
Is everyone here from where we're from? Gallery? Eisendale?
No, not me or Salinger. And she'll gesture to him wherever he's reclining or laying. or from somewhere else?
And nay, the others as well. And Sav was going to gesture at the Relicers. They've been trying to keep their voice low, but not sure how successful it is since there's a number of them up now. It seems like they're from this land proper. And this gesture for the moment is also including Squire. This land proper, and I get, although you may have gathered this more since you've been here for longer, the returned aren't always welcomed, depending.
Yeah, I hadn't experienced that much myself, but I do. There's nobody else from Sheps, huh? There. You all know each other. That is something else.
Well, and then Talth looks back over to Ashen. He actually makes his way over to Ashen and kneels down to examine him. Actually, the goat's still on top of him, right?
Yes.
Talith kind of shoves the goat aside.
Yeah, I think much like pushing a cat, you kind of push it and it kind of slides, but it readjusts and is still curled up on him to some part.
And then as he's inspecting Ashen, so Ashen he looks pretty beat up and everything.
Yeah, they've taken him out of his armor. He's pretty cold and everything like that, but he doesn't have any obvious wounds on him, like fresh wounds.
Talith just inspects him, just making sure he seems okay. Then he will turn around. So, and is it safe to say that everyone is familiar with each other to at least some extent? Dreams?
You had them too?
I did.
Everyone except the Relicers as well. But also, they look around and pull Talith down and say, there's one of them is actually Ethan, but he's known as Squire there, so don't you make a sound if you see some scrawny little half-elf with brown eyes. He goes by Squire now.
He goes by Squire, that's his name?
Aye. That's how everyone knows him.
What about anybody else? Has anyone else we know shown up?
Nay. You four are the first I've seen, and well, from the sound of it, it sounds like I didn't even have the longest separation of all of you. Maybe the shortest. Sap is going to take a moment actually to recalibrate and see if are they still getting that sense of pull to the west?
Yes. I would say that's more of a thing that happens when you're dreaming, but it's happened so recently with your dream with Ashen that yeah.
Wait, so have we had a chance to dream since Ashen arrived? Or has this been too interrupted of a sleep?
No, you haven't. I don't think you've dreamed since Ashen showed up.
There's this. Sorry, I keep talking. There's this feeling, I think most of us have had, of a pull to the west, deeper in mountains, maybe a few days. I didn't know if it's. I think it's probably another person, but I didn't know if that meant that it's supposed to be this fella, or if it's someone else, maybe someone we know or someone they know, or um, she looks around at everyone and realizes that most of them were connected or had some kind of knowledge of each other in some way, aside from like the Shep's End people and the Eisendelian people. Mm, I would bet that it might be someone who's been previously known to at least one of us so far, but just based on patterns.
You said he looks to Peach. Ashen, he came in by himself?
Yeah, he stumbled on through that, through the illusion that Saf put up there. You know, the one she put in front of the door.
There was another one with us. Oh, Harkul. We all got separated. I assumed that they both must have died, but if Ashen is alive, then maybe Harkul as well? I thought he was dead, though.
Well, how does Ashton look to you? Does he look like he's aged a bunch or something, or anything like that, or?
No, I only met the
Oh,
two of
all
them
right.
recently.
But
But
does he seem like one of the returned? She
I
looks
don't
at
know.
the group at large.
We traveled and for a little while, maybe had some surface level conversations here and there, but nothing too deep. I imagine.
So I will remind, just a reminder for clarity. When you had met them, there was that same sort of brief, uncanny feeling of connection that you felt like when Sab showed up. And, like,
Then in that case, what Talus says is, well, we traveled together for a short while before here. Didn't talk too much, but he and Harkul give me the same feeling that I get when I see other people that bring out that sense of familiarity. So, I assume they're similar. Maybe not the same, maybe the same, but at least similar to us.
and Peach, you can't help but to notice that that mark on your thumb is gone.
She doesn't mention it to anyone yet.
Talith will walk to you said the entrance is illusion, right?
From this side, it's probably it's like you said, it's like translucent or transparent.
It's translucent if you know that is an illusion. So,
I see.
since he had warning, you might be able to see it.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. You look towards the mouth of the cave, and after a while, you realize you can see. You can see through it. It's an illusion.
Without saying anything, Talith will walk out of the mouth of the cave and look both directions, just see what it looks like, maybe any signs of Harkul or
Yeah,
anyone maybe following Ashen.
as you begin to move out toward that mouth of the cave, you start to feel the incredible cold in the wind. As you actually manage to step outside, you can feel the wind is so strong that it's abrasive against your skin. You can feel the warmth being just quickly drained out of you, and the wind is even strong enough that it's abrasive. Like you can feel almost as though it's you're already going to be a little bit wind chafed just from standing out here this moment. But as you look around, you can see the the sun through like the snow and the fog that's whipping by you. It's diffused and seems distant and pale. But as you look down, the only footprints you see in front of the cave are your own.
And then with that, Talith will come back through, armor clanking here and there. Not really say much to anybody else, and he will sit down by the fire area and begin taking his armor off. Maybe cast a little cantrip on the flame, pull a little bit of the flame out closer to him, a little bit warmer.
Is there anything else that you guys want to do here before some time passes?
As far as Talith goes, he's only going to, unless someone speaks to him, he's only going to take off his armor, keep an eye out, and warm up.
All right. Sometime in the night, Squire and Merrick are on watch. Let me ask this. Would the rest of the party allow it to just be two of the Relicers who are on watch? Or would someone else want to be on watch with them?
Peach would be fine with it.
Yeah.
You're all strangers to me. It doesn't matter.
Merrick's sitting by the fire. He has a whetstone dragging along the edge of his sword. It's very often that the two of you might sit quietly by a fire without saying anything at all. But glancing at Talith and Ashen, who at this point are resting, Merrick says, "What do you make of this?"
Squire sort of keeps staring into the fire and warming his hands a little bit without sort of looking up at it. He just sort of shakes his head slightly. Not entirely sure just yet. Still think it's odd. I'll say that.
Do you think all this has anything to do with what Vesper was seeing?
Yeah, he continues warming his hands, and he pauses for a second and sort of looks up at Merrick, and he he takes a beat before he replies to him. And he's sort of nods his head a little bit and says, "Merrick, let me ask you something. We've been at this for, 14 months? Headed out, moving towards the black to start following dreams, his visions, and all that time, got to know everybody, got to know all the others, understand them a little bit. Follow everything, because respect all the knowledge you've got, all the experience you have. 14 months. I've never gotten to know you. A lot of stuff just changed. What we have this time, just for a bit. Let me know a little bit about you. I want to understand the person I've been following all this time. I've watched as you've gone out of your way to save people, ask nothing in return. For not 3 weeks later, exact same thing to happen, and for us to just ride right by. I'm asking because instead of just working with you, I'm hoping to build a little bit of trust. So just tell me something. What are you doing this for? I mean, I know what we set out for, but I don't have any idea what it means to you. I don't know why you keep doing it. I don't know why you've been turned away. Just tell me something.
Glance over to where the others are sleeping. Well, I think in particular, he's glancing over at Caspian. Glances back at you. Says, an interesting thing about you. A lot of people do a lot of talking. A lot of the time when they're talking, I see you watching. I got a feeling there's a lot you could have done coming south from the wall. Let me ask you this. What is it you think you know about me?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I know a little bit about that. He points to the insignia, says, got a name, a little bit of a story, but not enough to make out. And after all this time, I can't tell if you are a broken man trying to put himself back together, a good man trying to move away from it, or a selfish piece of shit who just occasionally, for some reason, wants to help out others. I don't know. I don't know you. I can't read you. All that time spent watching others, it's so I know who they are, so that I can travel with them, so that I can be whatever is needed in order to make sure that it's a cohesive group, so we can keep traveling, we can be effective and work together. You? I don't know. I don't know anything about you. That's why I'm asking.
Tell you this. When I was young, I had a really good idea about what's true and what's good. And then I thought, must be behind that wall. And for a long time, I wasn't real sure. I gotta say, when that boy first started saying that knew something about the world. I didn't believe him at first. But then as I saw more and more of what he believed turned out to be real, and just started letting myself believe that it meant something. And I was just dead.
Squire like shakes his head a little bit. All right. Now let me ask you this. I have two fork in the road. Everything you thought you were about to believe, complete bullshit. Or everything you were thinking about, you're only at the beginning of it. Where do you want it to lead, if it's true? What do you hope for?
Let me tell you, I knew people who got through.
He just shakes his head and keeps listening.
A long time ago, I had people we never expected to find something that might be wanted. But we did. We had been through everything together. And so we went to those gates. They walked through. They turned me away. I was sure there's some purpose to it. Some kind of meaning. Something more that I had to do. I was supposed to do. Do you know the feeling of not knowing if you're ever gonna know? Squire.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say you're talking to somebody who can definitely sympathize with that feeling. Is that what you want? More than anything, you want something to get you through. Is that what all this is for? So that you can win the favor, pass through the gates, and join whoever's back there.
Isn't that what you want?
He shakes his head and he just keeps staring at him. No. No, it's not. But if that's what you want, if that's what all this is motivating, then I will make you a deal. I will find something. And when we do, I will make sure it is yours, and you can hand it off and pass on into heaven.
So sure.
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of things, been a lot of places, and I'm perfectly okay not trying to live 100 lives or whatever it is they preach about. All right. Well, give you a little bit of hope, I guess, to at least whatever faith you had in Vesper's dreams, they didn't die with him. Those others, a lot of them, maybe all of them, they had dreams too. And what he led us towards? Probably them. For what purpose? Don't know.
He kind of glances around at the others that are sleeping before looking back to you. How do you know? How do you know you can trust whatever it is they said?
I've had a few different lives, and in one of them, I met a few of them.
Okay.
So, in terms of trust, I know I can trust at least a handful of them.
Alright. Well, deeper into the mountains. You think we're gonna find anything?
I don't know. I imagine if the dreams led us this far, led him to all these people. Yeah. I'd say we're at the beginning of whatever this is.
Well, let's see where it goes.
He sort of looks at him and nods and says, yeah, I suppose so. Tomorrow, do me a favor if you can. Keep an eye on the other two. I think they took the deaths pretty hard. So, I know sometimes you're not always the most present, but if you could be the person Vent likes to imagine that you are, the best of you, the one that helps people, you know, the good man, the leader, all that, tomorrow would be a great day for you to do that.
Start by burying Vesper and Nakana when the storm clears. See about
Yeah.
staying alive.
He looks around at the group and says, I think our odds of that just improved. Vastly just improved.
Sometime later, and what the stones would stay as the morning, the blizzard has begun to clear as you all begin to wake.
Awake from a long rest?
From a long rest. Look at that.
I think Peach is up earlier than most. She has like a small portable, what we would see as an espresso maker, but what for her is a concentrated Hakim pot, and so she is working to heat up some Hakim grounds from a pouch in her layers of skirts, and make some coffee for everybody. So you'd smell that as you're waking up. It smells like fresh coffee.
I can't
Because it's
remember.
coffee here, right? In Eisendale?
Did Eisendale have coffee? Or was it just tea?
Eisendale coffee looks at Akeem. You have some sort of equivalent here. Whoops.
Haleth doesn't take any. Instead, he just spends his time sitting by the fire, glancing between Sav, Vax, and the squire.
All right, weirdo. I didn't poison him or nothing. It'll just wake you up.
Does it
Sav has definitely taken a cup, but has used it to pin down some of the papers that they've spread out around, and they're going between them, studying different sheafs, basically picking out their spells for the day. But that's what it looks like. But they've positioned themselves such that they can keep an eye on basically all of the people that they already know. Just, sort of in that way, like when you come back after a long vacation and your pet is overjoyed to see you, and then they just won't let you out of their sight in that way.
Bax is that really shitty person that works out first thing in the morning when he wakes up. So as everyone else is rousing and getting situated, he's further back into the cave. Going
Bax
through
is
a
still
series.
young, right?
Bax, Bax probably looks older than he actually is. He probably looks 5 to 10 years older than he actually is. So to you, he might look like he's in his mid-20s, like early to or mid to late 20s potentially.
And he's cut. Yeah. Okay.
Incredibly, yes.
You,
Peach is very distracted. The next cup of coffee she starts to pour, it just overflows into the person's hand.
Peach, you get gently elbowed in the side as you do that, and Masriel has been busying herself, kind of making like bread fried in whatever fat is available, probably troll fat, for breakfast. And she's like, I know it's a bit of bad luck about, and she kind of nods towards Sal, but I guess there's lots of other people out there in the world, you know? She grins.
It ain't bad luck about Sal. All right, he has a happy life, and that is what I wished for everybody that I lost.
Sure, but I'm just saying.
Also, I mean,
I
he's
understand.
a grown man now and everything. Like, it's one thing to feel like you're reunited, but he's hardly the teenage furball guy I had a crush on. He's a dad now and things.
Yeah, and you'll find your own way.
Yeah, and I mean, he's distracting me.
Distractions are good. And she kind of like takes the cup of coffee out of Peach's hand and puts it down, and instead puts like a little wooden plate with a slice of bread in it instead. And she's like, here, go offer him some breakfast. She winks and nudges Peach over.
Caspian, he's up at this point, takes an audible bite of some troll meat, and he kind of catches your eye at some point. Squire gestures you over. Wait.
He heads over towards it and sort of nods as he approaches.
Hey, listen up. So, Golden Boy's dead. He seemed pretty sure up in those mountains. Got the sense. Treasure. I think we could still check it out. But what about all these? You gonna let them in on the share?
He looks around at the others.
Merrick isn't here, by the way. You probably were on watch. He went out earlier, and he's going to get a Khan's body.
He sort of looks at the others and sort of shakes his head and says, man, I guess that'll be Merrick's call in terms of how we divvy it up, but, no, I don't necessarily think they're out here for treasure. But if we find it, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be ours. But, again, big man makes those kind of decisions. Claps him on the shoulder.
Yeah, but did they know that? Like, they don't work for him.
Yeah, tell you what. let's worry about finding the stuff first, and maybe, not getting completely eviscerated by another troll monster. And then worry about how to split things up afterwards. And, I gotta say, as much as it may be frustrating to split things amongst more people, you gotta admit, yesterday, seeing them all fight, it's went a lot easier than probably just the four of us.
Good point. It's just be thinking about it. Be thinking about it.
Yeah, of course. Hey, seen Vent?
Yeah. He's tying his shoes.
Yeah, alright, we'll check on him. Just makes his way over.
Peach would bring that cake to Bax if there's a moment for a scene. She has some questions for him anyway.
Yeah.
So as she's urged on by Mosriel, Peach takes a few steps over to where Bax is and places herself near-ish to wherever his head is if he's doing like pushes for him. She says, excuse me, Bax?
You actually catch him while he's almost like shadow boxing, but he is literally just punching the cave wall. He's got wraps around his hands, and his knuckles are bleeding. And you call to him, and he whips and looks pure fury in his eyes. And after a quick moment, he recognizes you, and it just immediately disperses. Hey, sorry, what's up?
Sorry to interrupt. I thought you could use something to eat. I know that you hadn't eaten yet. You just went kind of right over here, but I didn't mean to interrupt anything you were trying to get out of your system and all.
No, nothing in my system. Standard routine I kind of picked up over.
You're punching a wall until your knuckles bleed is part of the standard routine?
Well, I'm punching something, at least, yeah. It's not always a wall. Sometimes it's a tree. Sometimes it's the ground. Sometimes it's an asshole, depending on where I'm at the time, I suppose.
I thought you must have been working out some deep anger or something. But,
No.
Hey, that's good to hear otherwise. I want to talk to you. I hadn't got a chance properly yet. Before last night, when we were on watch, before Talith appeared, right? Your eye did something. Well, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? I don't need to beat around the bush. Your eye does something wild and magical, and what is it? Please tell me. Because my hand did something weird too, and that never happened to me before, so any clues would be much appreciated.
I don't know if I can help.
Just tell me about your eye a little bit. Were you born with that? What else? I don't even recognize those stars. What even is it?
It's the constellation of the Hunt. I'm told the stars travel, or the world travel. It's I don't. You're really asking the wrong person. I don't. I'm not good about details.
Oh, me neither, honey. I've been taking notes because of all this, if it was just up to me, all I would remember was who had eyes for who,
I can't read.
Oh. Would you like...
No, I'm good.
you know, it's not for everyone. You can still enjoy a story if it's told, you know, orally.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten by no issues without reading so far. So
Yeah, I suppose if it's working for you, it certainly looks like it's working for you.
thanks. Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what actually. GM, did Bax notice his eye doing anything? Did like he get a tingling or like see the flash before Talith arrived?
Yeah, interesting. I think it's not okay. It's not the same intentionality and feeling as like when you reveal your constellation. In fact, I think more than likely you're probably not aware of it.
I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. I mean, we were on watch to keep an eye on that Ashen, and then Talith just kind of reappeared. And
Yeah,
I
but before that, didn't you, you know, feel something building? Or I could have sworn that I saw, you know, not just that hunter constellation, not just the stars that you got there, you know, on the regular, but like a flash of something, like something, I don't know, something. You didn't notice that?
no, and I mean, granted, there's a lot of things that I haven't had this my whole life now. But I've had it for most of my life. There's plenty about it that I don't know. I know how to utilize it. That's about it.
Just then, Ashen gasps awake as though coming back from the dead.
He looks around the room without moving a muscle. Where am I?
Alice looks over to Ashen upon hearing that. You're awake.
More a state of being than place.
Where's my armor? Weapons?
They're right over there. You're welcome to them if you need to put them on.
He doesn't move.
We're not gonna put them on you.
I've seen you. Most of you. Why are you here?
There was a storm outside and the cave provided shelter.
Pedantry it is then.
And Ashen, you do catch a glimpse of Talith is there now too, who you'd been traveling with and were separated from.
Talith. He starts to stand up. Where's Harcool?
Well, to be honest, I was hoping that you would have that answer. I assumed you both had died.
Why would you assume that? He moves over to his armor.
So then you haven't seen him either?
If I had seen him, I wouldn't have asked about him. And he starts to don his armor.
Fair enough.
Give us, as you're putting the armor on, give us another sort of description.
Yeah. Ashen is a big dude, not Salinger big, but he's big for a human. And the armor is very sleek. If any of you that were doffing his armor was aware, you would know that it was made out of mithril. It's very finely crafted armor. If you have experience with that type of material, but yeah, it's like I said, pretty old. Has definitely seen battle, but you can tell that it's been very well cared for, and he picks it up like it weighs nothing and just slings it on over and starts to strap it down, and grabs his battle axe and grabs the war pick, spins it once, twice. Are you guys just gonna stay here all day?
At about
So I points
that
at the blizzard outside.
Mosrael on cue slaps a piece of fried bread into his hand. We're waiting out the storm, clearly.
And,
Yeah, the storm's about done at this point. Merrick's gone now.
Also, Ashen, you know, there's apparently a squire that probably could have helped you with your armor.
It's a name, not a position. We're waiting on one of our party to get back. We lost ours. I think he went to go fetch the body.
Whose body?
Wait, alone? I thought the whole idea was to help.
Well, he's not here. I can't imagine where else he would have gone. Maybe he's just scouting.
Who's in charge here? Any of you?
We're
Well,
several,
not you.
Yeah, several separate groups of us just convened in this cave to ride out the storm. There's no unified group here yet.
You notice a young halfling. You maybe were looking over before you realize he's looking up at you, Ashen. And he says, Merrick's an accomplished warrior. He's traveled a lot. He's very capable. We're working for him. You could work for him too, maybe.
Merrick leads you. Is he here?
He went to recover someone who had fallen to the enemy.
Why would your leader go recover a corpse?
He said that that's the one job he has to do.
The corpse is just a vessel. Once they've passed on, there's no point.
Oh, I don't think he knew that.
Different customs.
Again, I ask, what are you doing here?
Vel kind of shies away.
I think at this point, Bax would have approached after listening in for a little bit. We're still trying to figure that out ourselves, actually. Glad you're doing a bit better.
If you don't know, do us all a favor and go home. Talith,
Why? We
need
won't
to
be able to
find...
save you if you get hypothermia again.
I've seen you.
Yeah, I'm standing right here.
No, in my dreams.
Yeah, I think the majority of us have kind of gotten that sensation.
Why are you here?
Caspia pipes up and he says, "You're asking a lot of questions. Why are you here?"
Mosrael nudges Peach and whispers, "This guy's really weird. Do you think it's the brain got a little frozen?"
I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got a weird story here, Moss, right? I mean, come on. I don't think he's any weirder than the rest of us. I think he just needs to get over himself in a minute and realize that he's gonna have to trust us, or we're gonna tie him up for sitting out in the cold or something.
I'm here to find answers.
To which questions?
Well, what's causing the dreams for one? What's pulling me in this direction?
You're in the right place, because as I understand it, I believe we're all about to be heading in the same direction that most people are being pulled in. Is that right, guys?
Caspian pipes up again. He says, wait. All right. At this point, are you all having the same dreams?
Seems like it.
Wait, are you not?
Maybe I am. What do you know?
Not a whole lot. That's kind of why I'm asking.
Well, maybe I have
Yeah, I mean,
dreams.
you've been dreaming about any of us, though?
Maybe some of you more than others.
Squire whispers to him. He says, "They have dreams like Vesper did."
Huh. Okay. Don't mind me. He just gets back to his pack.
Well, great. So we're all on the same page. We've all got a weird pull. We all getting the same dreams. Why don't we
The door to the cave opens up. Oh no!
that cave door is so creaky.
Sorry. If you want to install it, you can do it yourself.
Look, you seem a little agitated. That's fair, and we're just, offering help if you need it. But also, if you want to travel, I think we're all trying to figure out what exactly is going on. So, bigger groups, greater chances of survival, greater chances of figuring stuff out, right? So, we could travel together if you want.
Numbers don't always mean safety.
The one that's missing, the one you guys said,
Harcool.
Yeah. Is he one of the ones in the dreams?
The answer's
He traveled with us for a time.
He gives the same familiar feeling that I get with Ashen and, well, everyone else.
All right. Let's just consider him one more piece to a puzzle that none of us know exactly what the picture will be. So, we're all on the same page, trying to find this person. As soon as we bury our dead, we'll be heading whatever direction you guys decide.
You burn the dead, you don't bury them.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of a different time.
You were being pulled into the west, into the mountains as well. Some days away from here.
Are you speaking to me? Speak up. I cannot hear you.
Sam, I think, has actually directed this to Tal, probably.
even better.
He looks to Ashen. I think she was talking to me. But the answer to that question is, yeah, pretty much.
They've started to gather up their papers and their books. Finishes the last swig of coffee. So, do we just wait for Mara to come back? Shall we go out and try to find him?
Yeah, Squire's gonna head towards the mouth of the cave and sort of just see if he happens to... Merrick happens to
As
be...
though on cue, yeah, Merrick is coming back into the cave. He's coming back empty-handed. He moves. He makes eye contact with you, nods a little bit before moving past you, and he moves towards Vesper. He pauses, and looks at Ashen in his armor before sizing him up for a moment before he moves on and picks up the bundle that is Vesper's body and lifts it and starts carrying it out to the front of the cave.
Yeah, Squire just comes up beside him while he's carrying the body out. Sort of says on his side, the one from last night that just came into camp, he's a peach, but also I think that a lot of them are anxious to get moving.
Someone's a soldier. Find out who he works for.
He just nods.
He heads in. I think going at the mouth of the cave, you glimpse that, probably with some of the troll fat and some things, he's already sort of built a small pyre for Icana's remains, and he's taking Vesper out to it.
Anyone have any idea if we're heading back into the woods, back into the mountains? Is there a clear path we're going to be taking? Anyone been that direction? Know this area?
It will be a first for me.
I've traveled through these lands a lot, but this area is new to me, but I'm pretty good at finding my way. I might be able to help.
All right. Is there a vantage point outside of this cave to sort of be able to climb up and get an idea to sort of try to look out and get, figure out a path?
Yeah, the mouth of, yeah, there are some rocks that you could climb, and the wind is, if you go up, you can tell that if you go up too high, above maybe like the ridge line, the winds are still extremely strong there, but you could get a slightly elevated position to begin to try to figure out which way to go.
All right. It's like, all right, well, whoever's got the best sense of wherever you all need to be, he points up at the edge. He says, we can go up from there and try to pick a path. I guess start out that way.
I'll go.
Yeah, I'll come with you, I guess.
As people start filing out of the cave, Sav is going to linger behind to try and be the last one. And first, they pause for a few seconds, really, whispering into their hands and then into their cupped hands, and then unfolding it and feeling the fabric of the stuff around here, getting a sense of the bits that are tied to the weather. Is going to cast Druidcraft to try and get a sense of the weather for the day.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at this spell and see how it might have changed. Report that to Roll20, if you will, please.
Really didn't change very much, actually. Let me find it.
The only thing they changed is it works like an actual weather forecaster, so it's right about
green screen
30% of the time.
You're good for maybe an hour. Maybe.
While you're looking that up, as some are leaving the cave, you can see that Merrick has probably taken a small bit of firewood kind of from the dwindling fire members to begin to light the pyre, and Caspian and Velt have gone over there to watch.
And also, one other thing, as right before she leaves the cave, she claps her hands together and claps her hands together and calls out almost the same note that she used to cast the major image, but almost reversed in a descending pattern, and is going to and makes a clenching motion and is going to dispel it. Which actually might require. This would be slightly embarrassing if I can't dispel my own spell.
Oh.
Roll for it.
So, in terms of the weather, I think. Yeah, you see there before you. You see bits of snow swirl up from the ground and spiral there in front of you, with quite a bit of ferocity before being cast away.
Bax will be at the standing a little bit away from the mouth of the cave entrance, waiting for Sav to join everyone else.
Okay. I think so. Then let's see. You say Squire and Ashen. They went up on to an elevated position to try to get a sense of their bearings. Okay. Is that a conversation you want to have, or are you just going to do that?
Not just yet, no. We can do some other stuff first.
Talith does, unless Bax is about to have a conversation with Sav, Talith does want to have a quick conversation with the two of them whenever they catch up.
As Sav emerges from the cave and see Bax waiting, they nod, touch the elbow as they pass. Aloysius trots up behind with the that golden bird just perched on Aloysius' back.
Bax has a couple pieces of cut up troll meat and passes it around. Does the bird eat? Does that eat anything?
Nah. Aloysius doesn't eat either. Don't. Even though he's going to beg for it.
Bax tries to sneak the goat a little piece of troll jerky.
As Squire and Ashen were heading out, they were going to burn one of the corpses, is that right?
Yeah, as you're heading out, you can see that Merrick has built like a small pyre for the bodies of what seems to be two people you don't recognize.
Ashen would change course immediately over to that pyre, look down at the body, and lower his head. Ravens guide this soul to our queen, so that she may lay it to rest for all eternity. Retudena corso. Retudena corso. He raises his head and then walks in the direction they were going.
Yeah, if anyone's watching, someone might catch Merrick kind of glance in Ashen's direction for a minute. He's quiet for a long time. Seemed to have been maybe in his own thoughts. Velt, Caspian are also pretty quiet. But after a while, Merrick says out loud, in a way very unceremonious, "Blessed are the angels, blessed is the sun, blessed is the journey, the story just begun." And then turns away. It says, we'll say you're nearby. Eventually the scent will draw something. We want to move on.
Trying to find a path right now.
And then, so Ashen and Squire moving to do that. Did we say someone wanted to have a conversation with Sav? Sorry?
Yeah, Talith was going to have a quick conversation with Sev and Bax, unless Bax is AFK.
Yeah, let's do that.
So as they kind of catch up, he'll walk at their pace, look to them both, say,
Max is AFK at the moment. Do you want to wait for him to come back?
okay, yeah, we'll wait.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Ashen Square then. The two of you have managed to climb your way up to a place that's accessible, that has a pretty decent vantage point. Let me have you both roll survival.
Moss Royal comes panting up the hill behind them, and she's like, I offered to help. Look, find the way.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she does that. So she arrives with the two of you.
Yeah, well, happy to have the extra help.
I gotta roll good sometime.
Okay. So we're going to say, as you are keeping an eye out and looking at the surroundings through the whipping snow, Ashen, you pick out what you think on the short term may be a pretty a passable place between the rocks where it'll protect you in somewhat from the wind. But Mosriel, as you're looking at it, you realize probably in another, if you would estimate another day or maybe two of travel, the group's going to have to decide, based on what you're seeing of the geography, to either go on the light side or the dark side of the mountain range.
Do you want to talk first, Isaac? So Marshall, she's taking her bearings. You see her pull out like a small notebook, and she's sort of looking through her notes of the region, and says, well, we could head this way, but at some point we're going to have to decide if we want to be on the light side or the dark side of the range. And it's going to be tough going no matter what.
At some point, like a few days, week?
I believe a few days. Isn't that right, what you said, Chris?
Yeah, within a day or two, you'd estimate.
Yeah, it depends on our pace, but within a few days.
Shit. Okay. He looks at Ashen. Which direction did you walk from last night?
It's hard to even know. It was blizzard. You could see about 3 feet in front of your face.
We were heading west. We couldn't discern which side of the mountain. But light side, dark side, doesn't matter.
Well, it
Or
does. Quite a lot. And with all the fresh snow, there's going to be a risk of more avalanche depending on where we are. Depends on if the snowpack is stable or not. We'll have to try to move quietly.
Okay. Well, good eyes. I'm glad you joined us. I couldn't figure that out.
Well, like I said, I've traveled this area pretty extensively, and not necessarily all the way through these mountains. I used to own a wagon, and certainly there's no roads here, but being a healer takes you a lot of places.
All right, let's head back for the others. He looks to Ashen and says, the effigy, the speaking for the dead. I don't think I've heard that one before. Raven something or another.
Maybe you should get out more. He turns to head back.
He looks at Mazriel and says, seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, real sense of humor on that one. She shakes his hand. She says, I'm sorry, I'm not sure we properly got introduced, by the way. I'm Mozzarella. The only person I seem to know here is Sav, and now Peach, I guess.
Well, you're in. He looks at Ashen again as he's walking away. He's relatively good company. He shakes her hand, says, "They call me Squire."
Nice to meet you, Squire.
Glad we have a healer, he says, just making chit chat as they make their way back to the group.
Oh, yeah. I can't say that I'm necessarily, well, I guess by now I've got enough experience to say I'm good at it. But I've got other skills as well, so.
Magic healing or the traditional kind?
Oh, both. You know, I'm from, well, I don't know if you know much about the barony of Isendel, but magic was outlawed for a long time, so you learn both kinds of healing to survive.
Yeah, I've heard of places like that.
Yeah. It was hard after the downfall of, and the Octurne falling and everything, but I am glad that you can use magic openly again here. Lets you have a lot more advantages, you know, against these creatures and things that pop up. Do you have magic?
No, I was not gifted with those things, or smart enough to learn about it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I meet so
That's
many people
okay.
who do have magic these days. It's strange to find someone who doesn't have a little something. But stick by me and I'll keep you alive.
I really appreciate that. He makes his way back down and, starts to relay
Yeah.
the information. Yeah.
We'll join the group now.
Meanwhile, while that conversation is happening, Sav, Bax, and Talith, the three of you have come together.
Sav is stopped by the bonfire where the pyre and watches it for a minute before pulling a little string out of the pocket, ties it into a knot, whispers a few words over it, and then casts it in the air where it gently floats over to the burning body and set down upon Vesper's lips, although it probably starts burning before it actually reaches.
Aleph walks up to them, stops, kind of watches. So, you guys are really here, huh?
I mean, to the best of my knowledge, which granted isn't much, but yes, I'm pretty sure.
You see him kind of relax a little bit more. Kind of a wave of relief washes over him. He says, "Gotta be honest, I woke up thinking it was kind of a dream. You know, it's been a long time. It's really weird seeing you guys here at first. It took me a second to believe it."
I can only imagine. I mean, it seems strange for me, and it was only weeks. Odd
Only
weeks, though.
weeks? What about you, Bax?
A handful turns months, handful of months ish.
Oh, I really am the old one now. Huh.
Well, and Sap looks around to make sure no one else is in earshot, but it seems Squire's been here for 15 years, something like that.
15 years? Does I guess I haven't really gotten a good look at his face. Actually, on that note, Squire, did you guys already have this conversation about it? Does he still trying to hide? Does he know you know? Does he, yeah.
Oh, well, we had a bit of a chat last night before you came back. and filled us in on a bit of what's happened, including the 250 years of time passing.
Man, he's been here for twice as long as I have. Huh.
Yeah, it's weird. He also looks not that much older than he did.
That's even weirder and kind of unfair.
Yeah, you look old as shit. You look like 1,000 years old.
Yeah, well, time does that. Okay, I'm still not that old. I'm 29. I mean, almost 30, but like it's not that
That
big of a
sounds
deal.
so old.
You know what? Well, is that your girlfriend,
Max.
Peach? The one that you were talking to when you were doing your I know those workouts when you were doing that workout.
I only just met her.
Oh, you sly devil.
Max, you're not much of a one to talk either.
What'd I do? What?
I mean, I suppose you have no white hairs, but you still look older than. Although I suppose that's because when Silas was lost for a while.
Oh, but that's true. You do look older for only being here for that long.
Do I? Well, I don't know how
You-
old I am. It's fine.
Did we? We never sat down and told you all that Silas did while he was in your body, did we?
I mean, you guys kind of gave me the briefest rundown of like the big stuff. Like I know that Talith he stabbed you. Sorry about that. And I know that he talked with Danica, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, seems he got lost in the Feywild for a while too. And
Oh,
people went to
right.
there to
And
rescue him.
yeah, and Bax like pulls his breastplate down a little bit and like pulls back his shirt and like y'all see like the top of like a giant starburst scar in the center of his chest. Yeah, I'll be honest, I forgot about that one actually.
Right, you can put that away now.
Sorry, my bad. I just collect these things, I guess.
Do you still have? I gave him once a white rock with some gold chasing on it. It makes light. Do you still have that by any chance?
Bax kneels down, like starts digging through his bag.
It's not important. We don't have to look for it right now. Maybe tonight at camp or something.
He pulls out a small bundle and unties it, and just a bunch of rocks fall out of it, including that one small white rock that you talked about. This one, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Here you go. Sorry, I didn't know that you needed that.
Nick, it wasn't really about they take it for a minute and then look at it and then put it back into Bax's hands and say, "You can keep it. It might be of a help. You can't see in the dark neither, right?"
Nope. Well, I might have a thing
Yeah.
for that, but no, generally no.
Well, could help for that.
All right, yeah, I'll hold on to that, and he'll pocket that. Thanks. Are you guys all right?
Talith, after kind of like watching their exchange, he's kind of lost in thought, kind of remembering the old days. And once that dies down, he comes up and he gives both of them a hug, as to return the hug that they gave him. And he says, "I'm glad you guys are here."
I was a little awkward with the hug at first, as they usually are. And then after a second, they relax into it, and their arms go around the two of them, and they just put their head down, bearing it into, I guess, both of the chests.
Both of the big
And
buff
shoulders.
chests.
It's like some plate, I guess.
Just a bunch of metal clanging around.
Bax is still sweaty.
With how cold it is, he probably isn't actually.
So, I guess, should we carry on?
Pulls back a little and trying not to audibly sniffle. Yep, let's go. Seems there's more secrets to uncover. We're not alone anymore in doing it.
Yeah, perhaps for ease, we'll say that in this conversation, the group had already begun to travel, headed for the ravine that Ashen had pointed out as being the best of the short-term routes to take. It's as you all are traveling that you hear echoing off of the rocks as you wade and push through hip-high snow, deep in the ravines, just because of the strange behavior of the wind currents here. It's easier to pass. The snow often isn't quite as high as it might be in some places, but it's still, for walking through, can be quite of a trudge. But it's as you're passing in a little bit of shadow of some rocks that are on your northern side, you hear what first sounds like a horn echoing off of the rocks, and then you realize isn't a horn. It's howling, growling noises. You hear one echoing off a stone and then gets picked up almost by another, answered by another call, as though there were two of these creatures talking to each other, and then a third. It sounds like it's just around over the next ridge line. And there's an urgency to it. You can hear it echoing from different heights. And who's in the lead here?
I don't know if she's in the lead, but she'll be up. Masha will be up front helping navigate.
Who would be the person in the front?
I think Ashen probably would be up there with everyone. So.
It's Ashen, as you're the first coming over the crest of hill, you can see what seems to be from this distance, a small figure trudging through the snow. And there are creatures in pursuit. Harkul, you'd made it to the caves to find shelter, but very quickly you found that you were not alone. There are beasts in these mountains, humanoid creatures of bestial intelligence, and upon seeing you, any attempts to communicate them quickly failed. You figured out very quickly what they want is most likely your blood and your flesh. You've taken 10 points of damage, and you are on the run, outnumbered from a number of these creatures that are in pursuit of you. All of you coming over the crest of through the ravine over the crest, you can see immediately 4 of these creatures. They're smaller than the frost troll silverback that you fought before, but still each of them easily as large as Salinger, if not even larger. You can also see some movement up in the cliff sides. There are multiple of these creatures. You see one of them leap from rock to rock. They seem to be in pursuit of a figure. Ashen, Talith, the two of you make out a familiar silhouette. It's Harkul.
Upon seeing this, Ashen would straighten up. Prepare yourselves! Move into positions! And it kicks off and starts running towards Harkul.
And Talith would follows suit, running after him, and he would say as he passes everyone, "That's parkour."
Yeah, Squire
Who's that?
runs behind those to get a view of what they are, and starts calling out positions of the creatures that are running in and the numbers.
Okay. So let me get, before you guys communicate anymore, we're going to have everybody roll initiative. Let me actually clear the old initiative before you roll new ones. Okay, you should be able to roll now.
Does that macro still work?
I hope so.
Oh, you had a macro for initiative, right?
It does not work. Or at least the macro is not connected to my character sheet.
I have a macro that still works, so I'll post it in chat at some point so you guys can remake.
Aloysius just bleats in terror and falls over in shock, having rolled a 1.
Who brought this goat? Jesus.
Yeah, and we had...
He's doing his best. Leave him alone.
So a question, are there actually rules about, like, something happening if you roll a 1 in initiative? Because we use some house rules, but...
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there won't be there won't be a surprise turn for getting a 20, and you don't lose your turn for getting a 1.
By the way, incidentally, I rolled twice because the initiative on my character sheet can't give me advantage, but I have advantage, so that was the second one.
Oh, okay. I'll put that in manually. Oh, it should have picked that one up last, since you rolled it last. Let me check. Yeah. Whichever one you rolled last, it'll pick up.
So should be +5 to mine actually.
Okay, or is that?
Actually, let me double check.
Sorry, what's your dexterity? Because it accidentally deleted the... Oh, weird. It's not giving the... Oh, yeah, I guess we just didn't set it up on everyone's. At some point, we'll want to make the setting where it'll be like 18.14, right? Some for tiebreakers. But we don't have to worry about it for this one. Alright. Does anyone else need help with initiative? Or does anyone need help with initiative? Are we all done?
Mine, I rolled it, but it didn't seem to be on the tracker. Should I just roll again and then insert what it was before?
Yeah, if you can get your character to come up in that list, then you can manually change it.
Oh, can I keep the second one? It was a 19. Oh no, I can do it.
And look to those. Okay. The wind is still howling around you, but in this ravine, the snow is actually not too deep, so there's no difficult terrain in this part. So we're not necessarily super experienced at combat in this edition, so we'll go slow and do our best. Hercule, your turn is actually first. Lucky for you.
So no difficult terrain, but it is still windy and a lot of snow. Is it obscuring vision, or I clearly see everyone?
You can see pretty clearly here, but looking upward at like the cliff tops, you can see that up there the wind is incredibly strong. These are more atmospheric things. They might affect something if you get up really high, you try to fly, but for what you are, it's pretty just normal conditions in terms of mechanics.
And I'm assuming from the map, they're chasing me from the south of the map northward, and I'm fleeing.
Yeah, they're chasing you from the bottom of the map going to the top. The north will actually, the sun's always on the north side, so it would be on maybe like the left of the map in this case.
Parkour will notice people coming in from the north and shout immediately as he's running north. Danger, they're chasing me! Beware! Kind of clumsily saying this, but he'll try to divert the attention away from the oncoming people, because he doesn't want to lead the beasts to them, or the humanoids. Have I seen them clearly, what they look like?
Yeah. These are large humanoid creatures, monstrosities of some variety, in terms of probably creature type, if that matters. But they are incredibly dangerous. A sense that you've gotten.
Okay. Initially fleeing north, he'll veer off to the northwest of the map. Do I have control of my avatar?
Should be linked to your character? Let me double check.
I do. Yeah. Okay.
And when you're using the ruler, use the ruler tool. Oh no, it's a thing that I set, so it should be set to Euclidean.
He'll head towards that ravine over there to try to divert the attention from them. But yeah, he moves really fast, as you notice, despite having a bulky pack, and he like speeds by, tries to divert the attention from him over there. And yeah, actually, can you ready an action in this edition?
I believe so. So if I understand the book rules correctly, you set essentially a specific trigger for your held action, like an observable circumstance, like this creature comes close to me, or the door opens, or something specific like that.
Can one of those actions, I don't know if in this edition, can it be dash, or does it have to be can not be a movement action?
No, I think it could be. You could do a dash action, I believe.
You can choose to move up to your speed in response to.
Okay, so then I won't move that far off. I'll try to divert even further the intention. I'll go here to clearly be sort of like a lure, and I'll ready an action. Once one of them comes near me, I'll move further down the ravine to the northwest with the dash.
Okay, sounds good. So you're holding an action, you'll need to have your reaction ready to use that. Anything else on this turn for you?
That's it for me. Is there a skip button, or you're the one who skips the turn?
Yeah, I think I can click that. But as you are running that way with the pack on your back, visually, what are people seeing of your character? What does he look like?
I would have already been in movement as they would see me, but basically a pretty hulking figure in tattered clothing, really barely kept together, with a really large pack, almost as big as he is, which is considerable, probably about 7 feet tall. But as he's running, you see the clothing is very loose, and despite looking very initially bulky is actually very lanky underneath that, almost skeletal.
Okay, excellent. Is his face visible, or is it covered?
Not covered. Yeah, if they can see that far, they would probably notice that he is a half-orc male, but very gaunt in the face. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Okay. Ashen Iscariot, your turn.
Ashen touches a hand to the raven on his chest and speaks a low word. And there's a bit of a flash from where his hand is touching his armor. And he casts Shield of Faith. Using one of his channel divinities, which does not require concentration. And he kicks off towards the rock to the west there. And I'm going to dash in order to get next to this rock. And he'll sit flat against this side here, kind of anticipating what Harkul's doing. So he's moving this way in anticipation of the creature's movements. Yeah, turn.
Sav grabs something from her pouch. It looks like a little splinter of wood, and then slams on it with the fist with the golden bracer, calling, and it begins a teeny bit and sparkles, and she holds it up over her head, calling out to the golden bird, Samakael, take this and sit close to Talith and Bax. And so basically action, create the Elder Cannon, bonus to command the Homunculus Servant, and then movement to move there. That's it for me. And the Homunculus acts immediately after me. So because of the bonus action, I want it to use its action to grab the cannon, the little cannon that she's holding over her head, and then start. Since she's kind of in the same area as them, it's gonna circle basically in this area.
Peach Pine.
I just have to do a little bit of measuring. Peach, can Peach use her bonus action before her regular action? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so Peach, at the back of the group, behind most of the other folks, realizes that where she is now, she can't see anything. So she takes a few running steps, and then, as they've seen before, she vanishes into a puff of flower petals and pink dust, and she will far step onto the top of that rock there so that she can then take aim with her pistol at or with her rifle at one of the trolls oncoming. So with my turn, every reaction now I can, or every bonus action I can now teleport another 60 foot.
Okay. One thing to consider, I think the casting, double check, I think the casting of the spell the first time is an action.
Oh, then I use that as my action.
Okay.
Then that's no worries.
Well,
I use my action to cast.
double check on your spell, because I could be wrong. That's just the way I remember it.
It says on the sheet bonus action, but also it doesn't say anything about it. It says you teleport up to 60 foot to an unoccupied space you can see on each of your turns before the spell ends. You can use a bonus action to teleport in this way again. I'm fine with it being either. I don't have like an additional thing to really do.
The casting time is a bonus action.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So then you still have your action.
Great. As she's on the top of that larger boulder now, she's gonna look down at where Harkle is and holler, "Gotta take cover, all right? We'll be able to take care of these things, but you get somewhere safe, all right?" And she will use her action to kind of fall to a knee and take aim.
Could you place your character on the map where you are? Because
I will, yes.
I can't see where you've moved yet.
Yeah, no problem. I just hadn't had a moment to multitask.
If you have the measurement tool selected, you might need to switch to the little select. Okay.
Yep, I've got her.
All right. And then which of these creatures are you aiming at?
The one in front.
Something is happening where, like, someone's measured a cube, and do you still need that? Like,
You
I
can still see that. It's not clear whether or not you can see it. Sorry.
If you need it, it's fine.
I was saving it for my turn, but I didn't realize you could see it.
So, you're just taking aim at the smaller one, but the one that is in front, the more direct threat to Harkul. And I think that would give her advantage when she shoots next turn. I'm still rusty with the mechanics again.
What are you trying to do that would give you advantage?
Take aim, use my bonus, or use my action to take aim.
Take aim action. I believe that's how that works. Let's check. Does anyone know that off the top of their head?
I think you'll have to have not. It's steady aim, right? You have to have not moved for the round.
I didn't take movement.
Yeah, it's just you can't move. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that only applies to the same round, not to the future ones. If it's steady aim.
If it's steady aim, I can't remember if there is a take aim action. Was there
steady aim, third level rogue feature, bonus action, give yourself advantage.
Oh, I'm not a rogue anymore, so that's irrelevant.
No.
Then something else, I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe the take aim that we were doing, I don't think it still exists unless you have that particular feature.
No, that's why I was asking if it was, I don't know, maybe a feature we could add, or because I liked with Vithedrian's stuff that we could do that, but it's also whatever you like.
Yeah, I remember there was a specific rule on Vithedrian's rifle, actually, that was specific to the item, which was you have disadvantage if you haven't taken aim because of the scope, but then you give yourself advantage if you do take aim. That might be specific to that weapon.
Oh, okay, then yes, and that would be, I think that is the case. I knew that was with that weapon. All right, in that case, that is what Peach is doing. She is taking aim to use the scope as her action.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, next turn you'll be able to. We'll figure out kind of what happened with that. But for right now, let's do that.
Thanks.
Mosriel.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is move a little bit. Maybe. Okay, so that's 30 feet. So Mosriel runs forward and she, I starts incanting a spell, and she's holding she has a staff, walking stick in one hand, but in the other hand she's gesturing to the ground, sort of raising her hands up in the air, and I am casting a new spell.
Ooh, tell us about it.
I am casting Wrath of Nature, and I am invoking specifically the rock function, and let me redraw my cube so you can see where it's going to be. Let me see if I can remember where I clicked last time. That's a little high up. We try one more time. Okay, so that should be right. So it's a 60-foot cube, and the names are over the stuff, but I think the guy on the bottom is in the cube, right?
Yes,
No
he'd be in the
trees,
cube.
though?
Oops, say that again?
There aren't any
There's
trees.
no trees in that. There's no trees in that cube.
If you specifically require...
Wait,
do you
I don't have
require
to
a tree?
pick one?
It just lists trees. Does it do something with rocks or
Oh.
grasses?
It's the way that... Okay, so hold on. It's the way that it imported into Roll20. That's
There are
not
different
correct.
different
That's
things
not
for like
correct.
tree, rock, grasses kind of thing.
Yeah, so the place that I clicked it on my sheet doesn't specify that it's just trees. Hold on.
This is Wrath of Nature.
Like, I put it in as two different things on my attack sheet, but like that place I clicked it literally just says Wrath of Nature. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spell in D&D Beyond. Yeah, so it looks like there are three variants for each type. Rocks would be perfectly acceptable here, though.
Okay. So I didn't realize that it says trees, rocks, and grasses in the cube become animated until the spell ends. So in theory, if all of those elements are present, then I don't have to choose which one necessarily is happening.
Yeah, what I'm saying is in this area that you want to manipulate, rocks is the only thing available.
Oh, there's no roots in the ground at all, Chris? Wow. Okay. Not
Not
even
here.
under snow?
Not here.
All right. Rocks it is. Yeah, and so I'll use my bonus action. I assume I can do it on the same turn to hurl a rock at the first guy who's in the area right now. Hold on one second. Okay, looks like it's going to be a ranged spell attack. I think I set that up correctly. So that's a 22 to hit.
To hit the creature.
With 8 damage.
As the rocks come flying in and bludgeon the creature, it seems to hit it pretty hard, but you learn in this, much like the previous creature you faced, it is resistant to this variety of damage.
But because I hit you, you still have to do a strength saving throw, correct?
Excellent. Strength saving throw for this creature.
And that's, I believe, a DC 17. Ignore the fact that it says dexterity.
This is a 19 result for
You
the
do
creature.
not fall prone this time.
This time.
And that'll be my turn for now.
On the cliff top, on the right side of the map, there's a howl from one of the creatures, and it moves and leaps across the gap, landing on the far side. You see some snow and some debris fall down those rocks. You saw it. Some of you saw it jump the gap, and you realize there's something up there in the rocks above you. Whether or not you have sight on it kind of depends on where you look. I think it's fair to say everyone caught a glimpse of it at least.
Where on the map was this?
Harkle, you probably would have caught this out of the corner of your eye. It's up here on the cliffs. And then that creature is going to use its bonus action to dash. Squire, your turn.
Alright, Squire draws one silvered arrow, knocks it into his bow, takes a deep breath as he takes aim, and fires at the large creature at the bottom of the square.
Alright.
Alright, that is
3 hits.
Okay. Do you want me to roll an additional 5d6 or just double the damage?
Roll the 5d6. Did you roll? Oh, interesting. I wonder if there's a way to set it up so it knows that you're critical on a 19.
I'm not sure. So, 18 plus 23 plus 9.
And what's
That's
the
27 plus 23. That's 50 silvered piercing damage.
damage? Yeah, that arrow strikes true, cutting into the creature's thick hide. You see blood splatter out into the snow. That creature has been bloodied.
Okay. And then he, even as the arrow is in the air, he's already on the move, not waiting for it to strike. As he runs to the position of this rock, he calls out to the others in the back. He says, 6 humanoid, 1 cliffside west, east side flanking, 4 in pursuit, 2 heavy. And that'll be the end of his turn.
Salinger.
You're not transmitting at all?
How about now?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, I had a cat jump on me. Apparently, it also jumped on my headphone jack. But...
Cats will do that.
All right. So what I was trying to ask and was very confused why nobody would answer was, do I have line of sight on that creature at the top of the cliff, or do I need to go further south to be able to see it?
You do not have line of sight on it right now. You know it's up there somewhere, but it would actually be pretty hard for you to get line of sight on it where it is right now.
Okay. Well, then Sal will start running forward. And cast a hunter's mark on the one he can see straight ahead.
What does your hunter's mark look like when you cast it?
For Sal, the hunter's mark looks. I hadn't thought through. The same way as eyes glow with elemental energy when he goes into a raid, there's a almost like waft of smoke that then mirrors on the creature in front of him, like a little fog, connecting his eyes to. And that's kind of all I can do.
Okay. Do you want to hold your action or take a dodge action or do something with it?
Yeah, I'll hold an action. If something comes within range, I'll do something.
Take a swing, so that's good. Back's to Mir.
Pretty simple turn. Bax is going to drop the however many pounds of meat we still have, which I'll need to clarify later. He'll drop that, and he's going to take his spear and dash to stand beside or in front of Masrael, aware of the creature up on the cliff. And when he reaches the stopping point, he's going to his eye is going to begin misting up as previously, but instead of like the standard mist, as the mist tendrils kind of reach their end, they break away into black, translucent, almost cosmic colored feathers as he casts Bless on Masrael, Squire, and Salinger.
So I believe you guys will get an extra 2d4 to your saving throws and attack rolls. Is that correct?
I'm about to ping it.
Excellent.
And end my turn by just shouting to everyone around him. Everyone focus up. We all walk out of this alive.
See, one of the trolls begins to move. As they take a leap, you can see that these creatures, not only can they run swiftly across the ground, they also seem to be able to cover their movement in large leaps as well. This one's up running across the snow, leaping up, kicking off of one of the rocks, boom, landing there right next to Hercule. You had to use its action to reach you, but that does trigger your reaction if you'd like to use it.
I imagine I don't know that it had to use its action to do that, though. So Hercule will, with a determined look, try to... Yeah, that changes things because everyone rushed towards me. Try to... the area of effect that's currently that area of effect, is it still there? Is there something present right there? The spell is
Good
active?
question. Maybe you see some jostling rocks or something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe you have an intuition.
We can describe it this way. When Masriel casts the spell, you see a bunch of like mid-sized boulders sort of like start to shake, and they'll rise gently into the air and hover around them and only one will move at a time. But maybe you see like within that range, like rocks loosen up and hovering and hanging out.
Nice. So, okay, I can probably assume that there's still an active magical effect. Okay. So then I'll still use that reaction, but rather than go northwest, I'll try to draw, if possible, the creature to move still towards me. And so I'll move southwest. Southeast.
It's up to you guys. Whatever makes sense for you. I will say north on this map is to the left, but
Oh, okay.
just as long as you all understand in this combat, north is up, south is down. I don't care.
Okay, I'll just say up, left, right, and that's cool. So to the right. That's it.
As you leave the creature's threat range, is there anything that would stop it from taking an attack of opportunity against you?
Nope. But I do have a better armor class against attacks of opportunity.
Okay, awesome. Tell us a little bit about that ability as I'm pulling up this attack.
It's Step of the Wind, and basically, sorry, not Step of the Wind. Yeah, it's Step of the Wind, and basically I gain the dodge action as I move quicker.
Very cool.
So I have advantage. They have disadvantage on attacks against me.
Okay, is that something you use as a reaction, or is that something you use as a? How do you make that happen?
Oh, actually, right. Since I'm using a reaction, I can't use a bonus action because that's only on my turn, right?
Yeah, I think so. If that's what it comes from.
It is. So then, yeah, no, I'll just take the regular attack.
Okay. Well, with sharp claws, this creature that's been hunting after you for hours now takes a swipe at you with these claws. Let's see. Does a 17 hit your armor class?
I narrowly dodge out of the way.
All right. Well, yeah, there's a swipe of the claws in the air right behind you, but you're too fast. The large one moving through this field. Is there any effect on the magical perimeter of this as the creature's moving through it unwittingly?
The Wrath of Nature?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. I don't. Well, yeah, not. I don't think so. Not with only trees, or only rocks.
Oh, I am so sorry. I was clicking the creature. I clicked the X to close your window. Your area of effect.
What do you mean?
Oh, or maybe I just hit it for myself. You're square. I can't see it anymore. I might have just hit it
Oh.
for myself.
I can still see it. I'll redraw
Okay.
it then.
Yeah, we still see it.
Oh, no, cool. Yeah, I just can't see it.
I was like, is he talking to someone else? I was like, I don't look at the whole map. So
Mhm.
it's like, I'll redraw it for you, Chris.
Yeah. So, yeah, one of the larger of these frost trolls goes moving through that field, chasing after Harkul, where he's repositioned there against the rocks. And this one comes in. It had to use its movement and a bonus action to reach Harkul. It's going to use its action to take a swing. A 13, though, is not going to hit you. 2 bad rolls of 4. So it swipes above you, scrapes along the rocks. Chunks of ice and rock go flying. But you manage to dodge another attack.
is very cinematic.
Up on the rocks on the left side of the map, up on the cliffs, there's a howl of another one of these creatures. And it becomes leaping down, sliding, using its claws to slide down the rocks.
Sorry to interrupt, Chris, but you didn't roll any of the NPCs into combat.
Oh, I should do that. Well, they'll just go last. This creature gets down to here, and then is going to. I think I'll just take the dodge action. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about the pieces. I'm very good at forgetting. Talith, you're up.
Okay. Talith is going to move 35. He's got 35 walking speed down to this area. And he's going to cast Okay. You see as he holds out his shield or his sword with his hand turned inwards, and then above the back of his hand, you see fire begin to coalesce from the sides of it as they reach up and melt and meet each other or I'm sorry, not fire. You see lightning doing that as they reach out and meet each other, creating this ball energy of lightning as it shoots forward, and he casts Witch Bolt at level 3, and it'll be on the troll monster is pretty much directly south of him, or down towards the bottom of him.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, and you roll for attack on that initial one, right?
Yeah, hang on, I'm trying to get it to go. Let's see. Hang on.
You make a ranged spell attack.
Oh, I won't just click the spell and attack through that?
Depends on how you put it on your sheet.
Or well, because it's not in any of my attack options. Before I was just clicking the spell, but this one says it doesn't do anything, like when I roll at a higher level, but the description says it does.
So when you use a higher level spell slot, you increase the damage by 1d12 for each slot above 1.
Yeah, it might not change what you need to do in order to make the attack roll itself.
Also,
yeah.
a reminder that for the initial hit, if it strikes, you do 2d12 lightning damage if you're casting at level 1. Add 2 additional, it looks like you cast it at level 3, so that's going to be 4d12 on the initial hit, and then on subsequent turns, you can take a bonus action to deal an additional 1d12. So it does less damage on subsequent turns, just as a reminder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think just manually, if the spell's not already set up to do the roll for you, just go ahead and manually roll a d20, add your proficiency bonus, and add your spellcasting modifier.
Okay.
And we'll just have to set up that spell so that it's a shortcut on your character sheet. So it's 6 on the die, and then what's your proficiency bonus and spellcasting modifier ability?
I'm trying to find. Proficiency bonus is +5.
Okay, that gets you up to an 11.
Spellcasting modifier. I might have it on my D&D Beyond.
The spellcasting modifier should be the same as your charisma bonus, I believe.
Oh, okay. Then +4.
Okay, so that gets you up to a 15. So yeah, that arc of lightning hits the creature, but it almost seems to like it doesn't. The spell doesn't latch on. If that makes it, unless I'm misremembering or misunderstanding, does it automatically latch on, or do you have to hit with?
It's changed in 2024.
Right, that's what I'm trying to. I don't remember which version.
It says on the hit it takes 2d12, but it also says on subsequent turns you can take the bonus action to deal the damage even if the first attack missed.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So it looks like that first crack of lightning just deflects off the creature's skin, but you've latched onto it with a spell. So then, yeah, as your bonus action on subsequent turns, you'll be able to continue to do that lightning damage if you care to.
Alright, cool. And that's all he'll do.
They made that spell a lot more reliable. It's interesting.
Yeah, they changed it a little bit. The extra damage is only on the initial damage. So it consistent to the old rules, it does less damage on subsequent turns. I feel like the total cover thing is new.
Okay, anything else on your turn, Tal?
That will be all he can do for right now.
Another one of those large frost trolls begins moving. Yeah, you see it moving, and it seems to vanish behind some of those nearby large rocks. It's going to take the dodge action. And then one of the smaller ones. One of the smaller ones moves in, closing on Harkule from the bottom side of the map. It's going to take a swing. Sharp claws. 12, however, I do not believe will hit your armor class. Give us a little description. As you're surrounded, in the pinned in against these rocks with trolls on either side of you, swiping at you with their claws. What do people see as Harkule is defending himself?
He's mainly for now dodging out of the way. When the smaller one swipes, he'll parry with his hand pretty easily and just like sort of swipe it out of the way, the claw.
Okay, is he using any weapons? Does he have a sword and shield in his hand? What's he fighting with?
Oddly enough, he does have some weapons around on him, and a staff and a spear on his back. With his large pack, but currently he's not fighting with weapons.
Okay, so just unarmed. Empty-handed blocks one of those blows.
Yeah, deflects it actually, like not like with strength, but just like uses the inertia of the blow and like swings it away.
It's like
rather
redirecting it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Let's see, Aloysius, you doing anything?
Is running over here. And there he goes.
All right. Let's give Harkule one last turn, and that'll be it for tonight.
So briefly, for a flash of a moment, he seems to focus and take a deep breath. Looks around at his surroundings and sees that they're kind of the trolls are surrounding him, but the others seem to be fairly safe. So he will speed right by them and like sort of zigzag between the much larger trolls' legs. Actually, the one right in front of me is huge. It's not large, right? Is he? How tall? How big is it?
Yeah, so the one just beneath you is only a large creature, but the one to your left is actually a huge creature.
All right, so I'll take that bonus action and use Step of the Wind, which I was describing earlier, and so that in my case gives me both. I'll spend a focus point as well, and in that case it gives me both disengage and dash.
Excellent.
And I'll try to once again. I mean, they seem to be still targeting me. So I'll zag past them again. But right as I do that, I'll take that quarterstaff that I had on my back, try to topple the larger one, and I'll start attacking a few times before I was past. So I'll try to attack with the quarterstaff a first time. Should be the same attack bonus I have as my unarmed strike.
Okay. And right now, if I remember, you've got something here. Okay. All right. And is that a total of a 19?
I do believe so, because I don't currently have... Yeah,
Oh,
it should be.
Actually, 19 hits.
In that case, it will have to... Oops. Make a con save, I think. Hang on. This is a mastery effect. Oops. Topple, yeah, so it's a con saving throw, DC 17.
Saving throw for this Frost Troll Warrior. And sorry, did you say strength or
Con.
con? That is 12.
Alright, so now it's prone.
All right, yeah, you knock the legs from out the creature and it hits the ground.
And after that, rather than hit with the staff again, he'll hit a second attack, but with his fist, and he'll focus, gather a little bit of energy, and smash it against the ground with an unarmed strike. And I'll try to stun it. So now that he's prone, he should have disadvantage. Or I should have advantage, I mean.
Yeah, you would have advantage on your attack, I believe.
I don't know how to select advantage, but I'll just roll a second time.
Mm-hmm. Good idea, because that 25 hits.
Alright, perfect. So stunning strike. I think it's another con save, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a 10, which I believe fails.
Yeah. And I'll add my physician's strike, and I'll add some. I think it's necrotic damage to my strike as well, and leave it poisoned as well.
Excellent. Let me find some icons here. So he's stunned. I'm sure that looks like being stunned. And then he's poisoned. That kind of looks like being poisoned.
And so that'll deal 6 of force and 5 of necrotic. So he'll just take a deep breath and just like shout as he hits on the ground, kind of like someone chopping a board, and like leaves reverberations as he hits, and then he just speeds past without taking attacks of opportunity unless they have a special feature.
Yeah, they do not have a feature to do that, so you're able to dash away from being pinned against these rocks.
So I can move up to 120 speed right now with the speed of the wind. So,
Who needs a horse?
yeah, I'll speed past the area effect of the spell again, and actually I'll go towards Ashen.
Yeah, and you don't get attacks of opportunity for the entire movement, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so even if you, as you move past that other troll, he takes a swipe, but it just misses.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I'll speed past as I dodge throughout the snow and throughout the area effect of the spell and the loading boulders of Mazriel's spell, and I'll just like sort of slide to like go into ready position next to Ashen, basically.
Action. So yeah, dashing through the snow, sliding up next past Ashen. Cool seems to have reunited with the group, and that's where we'll end for tonight.
Oh.
Well done. That's awesome.
Tons of fun, guys.
Also, today I learned, so if you draw something that lingers on the map, like a square or a line, and then you had it hidden, and then you click the broadcast other toggle, it appears for you guys, and if you untoggle it again, it doesn't disappear for you. Now you know.
Interesting.
See? Love a fast monk.
Bro, yeah, for real.
I'm so sad to be playing a character who moves regular amounts of speed this time after playing two characters who could canonically run as fast or maybe faster than a horse. So now I'm like, oh, I'm slow again.
But Mazriel can
range
turn
stuff.
into a horse, girl. You can
That's
be
true.
the horse.
I can be the horse.
So I was gonna recommend Harkul get a cloak of spider climb, but maybe Mazriel should get it so she could use it as a horse.
Oh.
I have
I
other
don't think you
things I
get to
can
use
turn
your
into.
items in wild shape, though.
No, but I can cast some magic in the new version. There are some spells that are marked you
Yeah.
can cast this while wild shaped, and I'm very excited about that.
I could be my own cloak of spider climb
Be like
and
one
my
of
own
those
horse.
Boston Dynamic
I
robots.
could just be my own spider.
I just want the horse to climb on the roof.